Y'all, tonight I killed a snake. Like, whoa. Okay, disclaimer, I didn't mean to kill the snake, but I did kill a snake tonight, okay? But there's a story that goes with it. Tonight we had youth group, and the whole point of tonight was worship. What are we supposed to be doing as Christians? Well, worshiping God. That was the question that we were answering. Is what should we be doing? The answer: worship God. And so tonight I got to watch like 20 to 30 middle schoolers and high schoolers do just that at different stations. We had like a prayer station, a Bible reading station, meditating on who God is station. We had like a drawing station, draw as an act of worship. And we had like this the confession station where you give something to God. It's like, God, I've been holding this from you. You take it and you throw it in the fire. A little piece of paper. If you didn't go to church, it doesn't make sense. Anywho, and it was so cool. It was so cool to watch students worship. And then we split off into small groups, and we said, what'd you connect with? What didn't really make sense? So let's talk through this. How can we worship in our lives? And we got to talk through that. And the girls' small group had an amazing conversation. The fellows' small group, we had a good conversation too. In the fellows' small group, and this is key. I told the boys, I was like, hey, oftentimes we have these big worship moments and it's cool and it's great, and then we drive out of the parking lot and like Satan swoops in, takes the seed, and it's gone. Like, we just forget. And I was like, I challenged them. I was like, boys, don't let that happen. Remember worship tonight. Remember what you experienced and the things that you read and the things that you prayed, and remember the thing that you confessed and put before God, and remember who God is. Like, remember those things. Hold on to those things, and let those drive your appetite for worship later this week, even when you go home, even when you drive out of the parking lot. Don't forget. And so we moved about our night, and that's when things started to go wrong. It got too dark to play the game that I wanted to play. We were supposed to play Ultimate Frisbee with a dead squid, and that didn't get to happen. Well, it almost didn't get to happen. Anywho, it wasn't going to happen because it was too dark, and I was like, oh darn. And so I was like, well, okay, I have a backup plan. We'll play Ultimate Frisbee with a glow up Frisbee and those little glow wristbands. And I was like, sweet, yeah, that's awesome. And legit, none of my 30 wristbands, when I broke them, none of them glowed. I was like, you've got to be joking me. Not a single one. Where's my refund? I was getting upset at this point. I was like, come on. I know it's not about the game, but like, we're a youth group. We're supposed to have fun too, right? And so I was like, I don't really know what to do. And then Becca was like, well, just go play Ultimate Squid in the parking lot. I was like, you're right, yes. And so we went and we played the parking lot, and like only half played, which was fine. That makes sense. It's a dead squid. That's gross. Okay, like I still smell like it. It's fine. But anywho, so we did that, and as I walked into the building afterwards, like the whole entryway smells like squid, and I'm like, there's nothing going wrong. Like, how does this smell like squid? This shouldn't smell like squid. This is disgusting. I'm gonna get an earful tomorrow. What's going on? And the very thing I warned my small group boys about, Satan was doing to me. And there was a couple of things that were frustrating throughout the night in my perception, and man, that didn't go the way Phil wanted them to go. And the very thing, Satan was trying to get me to forget all that God had done that night. I even had, just before walking into the building, I had this amazing conversation with a student about how she wanted to share Jesus with her friend, and she was asking me how to do it. And so we got to talk about it. And she's going to go do that. Amazing things happened. And yet, the things on my mind were everything that had gone wrong that night. And I was getting kind of huffy and puffy as we were cleaning up, and Becca pointed it out. And at first I was like, whatever. But then I was like, no, she's right. And I realized, man, the exact thing, I'm starting to forget worship. I'm starting to forget the very thing we talked about tonight. Are you kidding me? And so there was this moment of repentance and then joy that God had revealed this to me. And so we were in the car getting ready to leave, and I was talking through this with Becca, and I was like, how scary but like weird, and how grateful I am for the Father that he revealed this to me. And we were talking through this, and I was just marveling at how easy it was even for me to forget what we had talked about. And we were driving out of the parking lot, and we were driving down Renner and going to our apartment, and I was still marveling on this kind of windy part of Renner. And no joke, I during this I was kind of being angry at Satan for trying to change my thought process, and I think it was saying something along the lines of like, not this time, Satan, couldn't get me this time, Satan. And legit, in that moment, I accidentally run over a snake. Didn't even see him. Like, he was just chilling in the road, and like, ka-dunk, ka-dunk. I drove over him and killed him. And, y'all, I couldn't help but laugh. And I just yelled out at the top of my lungs, "Take that, Satan!" And it was almost as if God was reminding me in that moment that he's still on his throne and he still has the victory, and Satan did not succeed tonight, because he really didn't. He almost did. He was so close to succeeding, but God didn't let it happen. Well, it's amazing for my own ears and for my own life, and this is a story I'm probably going to take with me for a long time. What does that have to do with you? Well, if you're a church member, can I guess something? More often than not, let's pick on Sunday. We go to Sunday. We are brought to worship, and we hear an amazing message from the Bible. We get amazing worship that brings us, almost, for some to our tears, others raise their hands, a true worship experience before God. We get to fellowship with other believers. Maybe it's your small group where you are challenged to live out the gospel. And we're brought to these moments of worship, and then about noon rolls around, and the Chiefs are playing, or what are we having for lunch? And it's just too easy. It's just too easy for them. Satan swoops in, takes the seed, and runs off. Church, can I challenge you with something? Don't let it be that easy. Fight. When you get out of Sunday morning, when you get out of your small group, when you get out of your discipleship group, don't let Satan swoop in and take the seed. Don't let him. He's stripping away the growth that has been planted in your soul. And what happens is we go throughout our lives. It's no wonder people tend to only worship on Sundays. It's because there's not really a whole lot of effort being taken to remember what it is that we're growing in and how we should be living for God and for his will for our lives. And so my challenge to you, if we can use my story from earlier, is when God brings you to worship, when you are brought to worship, hold on to that and run over the snake.